Hey guys, in the background is a 1998 Ford E350. It's a shuttle van and I bought it a year ago. We're going to fix it up. We're going to turn this into a party bus, and we're in the process of pulling the engine out. When we bought it, the engine didn't run. They basically said you're going to have to go ahead and put a new motor in it. So we obviously picked it up pretty cheap. So to support the YouTubers out there and the videos that help me pull this engine apart and help me fix this engine, we're going to go ahead and document this a little bit and hope it helps somebody out there if they have a current project where they're pulling an engine out of a snub-nosed van. Hopefully this will give them some help and pass the knowledge along. We're going to do a quick tour of the van. Again, it's a Ford E350 1998. The body was done by StarTrans. It's got the doors for the handicap. We already took the wheelchair lift out of it, and now it's just full of parts. Guess we got stuff blocking it. There we go. So there's the inside. Again, it's kind of full of parts, but it's got the seats in it. It's got the windows. It's got the original air conditioner unit, which is a Carrier, I guess, Generation 3. We found the specs online for Generation 4 and 5. I guess the 3 is very similar. So we're going to try to get that working. So right now I'm just using it to store the parts for the work that we're going to be doing. But one of the reasons we wanted this van is because of the doors, because we're going to be able to haul a lot of stuff in there, not only people but bicycles. Got the nice window in the back. The mirror. And then there's the outside of the air conditioner. Obviously, it's seen better days and will have to be totally replaced. So again, we're going to tear into this after we get the engine going, because that needs totally replaced. I think it's got 224,000 miles on it, and it's got the V10, Triton V10. One of the things that's nice about these vans, though, is they do have these dog houses that you could pull off to access everything in the rear. It makes it a lot easier to tear the engine down, get everything off of it, to have access, as opposed to like an F-150 truck where it's a little more complicated. So that's nice and convenient to have that. And then of course the school bus doors will be nice for getting in and out. Just another look at the inside. So I'm gonna be kind of excited to see what it looks like after we're done with it, or at least get it running. And then of course we're just getting ready to lift the engine out with our Harbor Freight shop crane and our Harbor Freight engine mount. And we're going to be talking about some of the stuff at the end on gotchas and things to get it to this far. It was quite the project, that's for sure. But again, with the help of the internet and YouTube channels, there's plenty of documented rebuilds, pulling, all the things that need to be done to get this done. It's definitely within the realm of people's abilities. I've never done this before where I've pulled an engine. This will actually be my first engine pull. But I have done some minor work. I have taken the heads off once, and the intake manifold, things like that. But this is definitely beyond anything that I've done in the past. But again, I feel pretty confident about it watching the videos, and we'll have a summary at the end on how this all works. So hope you enjoy the video.
Thank you.
Okay, the engine is out. Normally you would not pull the torque converter. You would disconnect it from the flywheel or the flex plate. But in this case, the engine wouldn't turn over. If it doesn't turn over, you can't get to the bolts. So the torque converter comes right out. The other thing you noticed is we are connected with the crane, shop crane, directly onto the engine with the bolts. I originally purchased the load distributor here from Harbor Freight, but you can't use it when you're coming out of these flat nose vans. The height, you just don't have the height for it. So we just took the chain. I did use the chains from the kit though. So we're going to take the torque converter off. We'll take the flex plate off. We're going to get it mounted on the old engine stand, and then we'll tear into that. The other thing that's a must on these vans is you have to take the intake manifold off. So it's sitting on the ground over here. Intake manifold's off, and I had to take it off in two pieces. Had to take the top off and the bottom. So the top, the carburetor is actually, not the carburetor, but the air intake is actually right here, still hooked up. And then, as you can see, no more motor. So we got the, we got a jack on the transmission holding it up. And then the other thing we had to do, we had to take the engine mounts off. So the engine mounts are right here. Originally I just unscrewed them from the engine with the 4 bolts on there, and that wasn't good enough. I ended up having to take these off and to remove it from the chassis. In order to get those off, we had to apply some heat. We had to go to the MAP gas in this case, not propane, but MAP gas. It's a lot hotter. So we went to the heat, heated up the bolts, got them off. Also had to do that on the exhaust manifolds. On this one here, I was originally planning on, we're going to get new exhaust manifolds, so I just cut them off. Turns out these bolts are really hard, and they started eating through my blades, and these are the easy ones to get to. The other side wasn't as easy to get to, so I ended up putting some heat on these too, heating them up, got them nice and hot, and then they came right off once we applied the heat. So another tip is make sure you have a torch, preferably MAP gas or a cutting torch, acetylene, so that you can heat can do wonders on these. So, and again, typical Ford, most of the bolts are busted off. We're going to have to drill those out. We're obviously going to have to clean this up quite a bit and tear into it and see if this engine's salvageable, and we'll go from there. So we got her off. Pretty excited. Now the real work begins. I gotta figure out what's wrong with it and get a new engine. Talk to you soon.